The saying that good things don't last forever became apt when on Wednesday, 3rd October 2019, Baba succumbed to the cold hands of death. Answering to Allah's call, the janaza at the Lagos Central Mosque transited to the Ikoyi Balls and Gardens for the interment. The promptness with which people came to pay the last respect by accompanying the corpse was unprecedented, with people coming from all over the Federation. It became a rude shock to all, family members, associates, beneficiaries, and the entire Muslim Ummah. In accordance to the Islamic rite, the burial was done same day. All too soon. It is already a year of Allah's call of the man that has been described as a philanthropist of our time by the young and old. Even though it's one full calendar year, family members are still betrayed by emotions as if it was just yesterday. That speaks volume of the bond that existed between them.
He took care of me at it. Took care of me at it. And the children, we are all one. He was the only one who would call me Bonu.
How would they describe Alhaji S. Babalola, who meant different things to many people?
The man I came to realize, to know as my dad, was the most compassionate, very considerate, and very humble. And he actually attached a lot to family. And he was somebody who was so selfless in everything.
Daddy, our father, to us, we don't relate much with our mothers. Is the mother, the father, he takes care of us, and wherever you are, Daddy will look for you. I remember when we were in school, boarding school, they would just call me, if you look grammar school, somebody will call that, somebody is at the gate waiting for you. Behold, it will be Alhaji. I came to see your grandma, and I said I should make sure just to say hello. Everything like that, and that's Daddy for you.
The absence of Alhaji in my life it cannot be underestimated, because it was a shock to all of us at the time, even though we know that he had gone far in his years on earth, but we just didn't expect it at that time.
My dad was everybody's father. He thought about people before thinking about himself. He was a philanthropist, and he never forgot his family. He made sure everybody in his family were carried along.
He's so loving, very nice husband to me and to the children. I don't even know how to express myself on this type of issue. It's in my heart. I know he did very well for each and every one of us. He loved us. He took care of every one of us.
I remember growing up, when we would go out, a lot of people would think that he was my grandfather. My father was always there for me. He wasn't an absentee father. There's so many memories, there's so many things that we did together. We traveled, we talked. He seemed like this huge entity outside of the house, but to me, he was just Daddy.
He was larger than life. He was a very simple man, humble, extremely intelligent, very considerate. He lived a wonderful life that he put everybody, family, first and foremost in his life. His network of friends and family meant a lot to him. And of course, also a very, very hard-working man.
My dad was a very caring man. I remember, like, if he doesn't hear from you in a few days, he will call you and he will say things like, he was so caring. He was always, willing to listen.
Alhaji's type is very rare in this world. He's somebody you could always trust. Somebody who is always humane. And he's been doing a lot of good things to people without telling the third party.
S. Babalola happened to be a man of integrity, happened to be an Omoluabi to the core, gentleman, and this is somebody that opens his door to everybody.
Alhaji S. Babalola lived a great life and put smiles on faces of several while contributing to credible causes. Did he do that for praise singing, or did that also permeate to family members?
Basically, it was good in and out, in the sense that it made sure all his children were very okay, financially, morally, and what have you. And he really helped people outside as well, but he never forgot his duty as a father to his children.
One of the best legacies that can outlive the righteous is continuous prayers. Family members and friends put together a prayer session 1 year after. The ceremony witnessed the gathering of Muslim clerics and friends, majorly from the southwestern states, in memory of the former president of Muslim Ummah of the southwestern states.
Alhaji Babalola rahmatullahi alayhi rahmatan wasi'a. Baba ke baba ge baba lodore Ọlọ́run. Àmín. Wọ́n sálì jan na onídẹ̀ra má fi wọ́n sílẹ̀. Àmín. Fasako maradi awusha bi qurba yaman min al-malik al-karim al-ajwadi wa sarata
Among the dignitaries were His Royal Highness, the Timi of Edem, the former Inspector General of Police, Alhaji S, a bosom friend of the deceased, and several government functionaries from the state of Washington, of which the deceased's first child has served as a commissioner for 12 years.
He used to tell us that you people don't appreciate me now. When I'm gone, you know that your father is an angel. He says Akonda, meaning that is a special one.
In his lifetime, placed very high premium on proper education and bringing up of children. So I think he has done his bit and has done it very well in life. So that's why a lot of us close to him over the years, we continue to be close to the family, and we are happy that the family is united.
My father never stopped talking about the virtues of life: hard work, honesty, sincerity, and a good name. That I remember he used to tell us, don't chase money. Build your name, build the name that you have, and money will come.
He was a friend indeed, and somebody that is not easy to be forgotten. We can never forget Alhaji Babalola. He was a devoted Muslim that gave to Islam the priority.
Gbogbo ìwà tí bọ́dà mi ń wù kó tó lọ, èmi mo rí gbogbo èèyàn tí wọ́n máa kọ́ sí lára ẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi ní gbàgbé àwọn náà torí wọ́n ti ṣe nǹkan tó dáadáa sílẹ̀. Gbogbo dáadáa ṣe sílẹ̀, Ọlọ́run ní bàjẹ́.
The official recognition of the ulama and dignitaries in attendance was anchored by Alhaji Rahman Babatunde. The prayer session was brisk, with the imams taking turns to give words of admonition to the congregation while posing some rhetorical questions.
Ẹ̀ńtọ́ráyé ṣe ni pé ìtọ́nà ń dáa fún gan-an ní bẹ́ńsúwátò mọ́lùkì àdáka lóòótọ́ wà láti yáta ìyàwó àwọn ayọ̀kọ́ àṣàlà ta ló wúre ta ló wà ń kó àṣẹ tó pàṣẹ dáadáa, ta ló ń lówó tọ́nà sọ́nà tó dáa, ta ló jẹ́ gbajúmọ̀ tá a dá gbajúmọ̀ rẹ̀ mọ̀ dáadáa. Gbogbo àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí ló pé fún bàbá wa Alhaji Zakariya Ọláìwọlá Babalola. Nígbà wọn wà lẹ́mọ́ wọ́n mọ́, nígbà wọn wà láfè wọ́n fè, nígbà wọn wà ní fanáfanṣu wọ́n fanṣu, wọ́n faná tán wọn ò gbàgbé iṣu. Gbogbo ẹni bàbá ṣe dáadáa, àwọn èlò a lè sọ bá kékeré wọn, ṣùgbọ́n ìtàn sọ fún wa bí wọ́n ṣe lo kékeré pàápàá nígbà wọn ń gbòkó. Ìgbàgbé ìtàn àfẹnugbọ́ wọn tí bàbá sọ, wọ́n níjọ́ àwọn dẹ́kun báyìí 7 shillings 6 pence làwọn mú dé Èkó báyìí. Ẹ̀wọ̀n àwọn tó lọ sùn ẹ̀dá lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Bọ̀dọ̀ tó bí ẹ̀dá wọ́n sọ pé nípa bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ráyè ṣe, wọ́n ètí ìráyè ṣe. Bó wọ́n ṣe wá ìntí à ń dà bó wọ́n ṣe lò. Ìntí à ń lò yìí ìlọ́wọ́ mú bàbá di ìntí à ń dà. Gbogbo tí à ń fi á sì kìí ṣe pé mò ń sayé wàláhì bàbá ṣe. Láàrin ibẹ̀ náà bàbá wa tún ti tiraka, wọ́n wá tún padà sínú Islam. Just surprise. Àgbàlagbà orí ni bàbá ṣe wòlímà Quran. Àgbàlagbà orí ni bàbá fi ṣe wòlímà Quran. Tí wọ́n gbà fà, tí wọ́n sì tàn kéwù àwa náà lo Èkó ńjọ́ náà. Àwa ti súnmọ́ wọn. Ìmáàmù bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá ṣe wòlímà Quran. Bàbá aráyé ṣe àbí ọ̀ráyé ṣe. Bàbá tó wá dẹni táyé mà nínú ẹ̀sìn. Bàbá tó tàrí. Wọ́n wá tó di Deputy National President of Islamic Council of Affairs. Èèyàn mélòó lọ́dà yóò láyé o. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n wá tún dàbí báyìí lọ wọ́n kù náà ni. Bàbá wa kú dáadáa, àríwí àrísọ lè tí ọ̀dá nípa wọn. Bàbá dá lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀, ó dá lọ́dọ̀ ẹbí, gbogbo nǹkan ló fi dá, ó sì dá lọ́dọ̀ gbogbo àwọn ọmọ. Bàbá àbádúpẹ́ o. Wọ́n bá rí báyìí sí bàbá la sọ, ayẹyẹ ọkàn náà tó kù fún ti ibi bàbá lọ ẹ̀yìn náà lọ o. Kárówó tọ́jú ara, bàbá rówó tọ́jú ara. Ká ṣe gbá gbogbo ẹ̀ bàbá ṣe. Màmá tó ká tè mọ́ lẹ̀ láti ṣe mọ́ ẹ̀ tàbí ọ̀pọ̀. Ìdá ìdá bá tètè ṣe ní ìsìnkẹ́ tó pàdé Ọlọ́run lẹ́bà. Bàbá ń bá tiẹ̀ lọ nìṣẹ́. Fáńtà dúró máa kádà máa tìlí gádì. Ọjọ́ ọkú èmi ti dé tán báyìí, ọjọ́ ọkú tẹ náà dé tán báyìí. Máa rántí tó bá ṣe tí wọ́n mọ̀ ìrántí rẹ̀. Tó bá ti ṣe dáadáa tí ìrántí rẹ̀, mo ṣoríire. Tẹ́mi náà bá ṣe dáadáa, mo ṣoríire.
Wọ́n ṣe ayé náà, wọ́n gúnlẹ̀ síbi tó dáa. Àtúrà àwọn ọmọ tábí, àwọn náà tún dáa. Wọ́n tún dá lọ́dọ̀ ìlú, wọ́n dá lọ́dọ̀ mọ̀lẹ́bí. Kí wá ni a tún wá mọ̀ wí pa wọn? Àbí ká ní pé kọ́nà ò forí jì wọ́n. Èyí máa rìn kórí ó má mì, kórí ó má mì. Ọlọ́run ṣàtúnṣe wọn. Wọ́n lá bísímìláì kul huwallah.
Wọ́n náà wíri dọ̀ yí gbogbo ẹja sámi àti débi àdúrà. Wọ́n náà wíri dọ̀ yí wọ̀zọ́ yìí lọ́wọ́. Ìnáná wà á fi hàmàdà. Wàkúnlé àhálí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ bàbá àti gbogbo olóògbé wọn ọlọ́mọdé àwọn ọlẹ́yìn wọn. Wàkúnlé àhálí mọ̀ ẹ̀yìn náà bìí. Àlálì yìí sì ìlà mo sì rí ní káyàdá. Àná múrítàdá olówó yóò sì dùn. Bọ̀sá àlèbá balọ̀ lálùmọ́tàdá. Sọlá tán sàlámù àlálì Mustapha. Wàhálì wàsábì kùdú lélẹ̀ ìdá. Fàúlù 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 fàúlù.
The Executive Governor of the state, His Excellency Alhaji Isaac Oyetola, was ably represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Abdullahi Adeyanju Beniyom. The brief ceremony was also used to raise funds for developmental projects. Giving the vote of thanks, one of the children of the deceased, Sulaiman Olatokunbo Babalola, expressed the family's appreciation to the families and friends, the people of Edoland, and those who came from far and near.
Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Ọba fún ọjọ́ ìní. Àdúrà tá a ṣe ń bí báyìí nítorí Alhaji Babalola, Ọlọ́run Ọba mádùúrà náà bá wọn. Mo wá fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó wà ń bí báyìí lénìí. A bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti orí kábíyèsí ọba Tìmì Ọ̀bẹ̀dẹ. Kárí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó wà ní bí báyìí lénìí. A dúpẹ́ pé Ọlọ́run bá ṣọ́ gbogbo yín wá lénìí. Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ bá ṣọ́ gbogbo yín náà padà.
What is that special aspect you will miss from him? Through varied responses, there was unanimity of how he had positive impact on the young and old.
I miss his voice. I miss someone calling me Bonu. I just miss his presence, his protection, his words, his encouragement, his prayers. He prayed a lot.
His love for me. His love, because his love, I miss that part. If he doesn't love me, he won't be here today. I think you saw my child. The love he has for me, you can't quantify it at all.
His counsel. He was not just a father, but also a great person when it came to giving good counsel.
The main thing I've missed about my dad is he was my best friend. It was later in his life that I came very close to him. And all the advice he used to give me, all the moral support he used to give me.
It's his presence. That's the thing I miss most, because at this age now, you know, we were at the age when we're dependent. A while back when we were going to school and having, you know, finished school, started working, have our own families now. The relationship was different. It's no more a dependency relationship, but, you know, the presence of a father that you've always known and loved, and in my own case, let me say, I'll just use the word feared, you know, subtly, you know, and that presence not being there anymore, it's a huge, you know, it leaves a very big gap.
Basically, since he left a big gap, and every day, every minute.
My father was my best friend. He was my mother, was my father, my confidant, my support system.
Mo miss the brother mi gan ni o. Torí Alhaji fẹ́ràn mi ní gbogbo ọmọ ìyá wọn. Èmi nìkan ló fẹ́ràn jù. A máa jọ ń wọlé, a máa jọ ń wọ̀ta ni. Nígbà tí wọ́n ti lọ, bí ìgbà wọn ṣe wà láyé lórí ara mi. Bí ìgbà wọn travel, bí ìgbà wọn ṣe ń padà bọ̀ lọ́la. Lórí lára mi tí mo ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Mo fìlì wọn gan ni o. Torí bí tí mo délé ní àbọ̀dà mi ló gbé mi débẹ̀. His death has definitely left a vacuum, not only to the palace, but to the town entirely. And I can say to the Muslim community throughout Nigeria, we pray that Almighty Allah should give us a replacement that will be just like him.
Part of Sadaqatul Jariyah is to have a righteous child that will continuously pray for you, even in death. Alhaji S. Babalola is guaranteed of that in abundance with the well-nurtured offspring he left behind, one of which includes the former Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Because no phone call can bring him back or anything. The only thing we can do now is to pray. I pray for him every day. I think about him every day, every second. Like whenever I go to the house and I enter the living room, I just always look at his chair to see if he was there, or the way he will look, whenever he sees my children, and he just says nice things to them. You know, so the only thing I just pray, I always pray for him.
My father, everybody, and many people, when we mention I'm Alhaji's daughter, I say, Baba, then people start praying, and that one alone is elevating, you know, your mood, that you are thinking Daddy has gone, Daddy has this. But we thank God, and we continue, and we pray to Almighty Allah to grant him a Jannah Firdaus and forgive all his shortcomings.
I try my best. I know that I could do more, but whenever I remember, I always open the Quran, I recite Surah to Yasin, and before I do, I pray that Almighty Allah sends all the blessings of this surah onto my parents, both my mother and my father. But sometimes I pray especially for Daddy when I remember him. for some special things that, you know, that we had.
The prayer I'll always pray for my father is to rest in peace, because I know definitely he's in the bosom of God. He's resting in peace now because he was a good man. He was really, really, really a good man. It's not because he's my father. I know what I'm saying. He was a good man.
Now that he's passed, I find myself turning to Allah a lot more for guidance, for protection. I pray for him almost every single day. I carry him with me every single day. So yesterday and today were extremely difficult for me, because all I kept thinking was this time last year, just a few hours left before he left us. I remember our last conversation when I went to say goodnight to him. I pray for him. I miss him dearly.
We keep praying for God to grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus, and we of course do prayers, but we do intend to do a lot more in his name. You mentioned you know, the continuous blessings and prayers, and that's one of the things. A foundation has been set up in his name, so we're going to sort of formalize that.
We pray Allah to forgive the shortcomings of Alhaji Babalola and grant him Al-Jannah. Ameen.